Hi, I'm John from Just Whiskey. If you like this show, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and consider becoming a Patreon with the link in the description below. And today we're going to be talking about and reviewing the 2017 limited release of the Highland Park full volume. But first, a couple of shout outs. Recently, Ben from Whisky.com did a great video of Highland Park Distillery, and he did a great job, and I'm going to try and put a link to that in the description below. You really get a great understanding of how a distillery operates, and he also talks to the master distiller, and the master distiller explains in detail about peat levels, pots per million, and how much of the malted barley, how much peat level is put into the malted barley, and then how they mix that, and then what's the residual ppm after they do that. So highly recommend taking a look at that. He did a great job. Again, it was Ben from Whisky.com. Also, a shout out to Whiskey Lock. He does quite a few Highland Park reviews, and we tend to be generally maybe a little I don't want to say critical, but a little bit critical of them. But also with Whiskey Lock on Ralphie's 918 extras, he talks about Whiskey Lock and referencing how supermarkets market and sell their whiskey, and the behind the scenes business of that. And so I thought that was great. Congratulations, Whiskey Lock, for getting a nice talk up. And Ralphie recommends Whiskey Lock, as do I. And also, a while back, Whiskey Lock did a Lafroig video, and I think his clickbait, tongue-in-cheek heading was, he'll never buy another Lafroig again, but it was an inside joke. But he was critical of Lafroig's website regarding their store and how people can use their points to buy Lafroig swag. And I just received an email a couple of weeks ago from Lafroig, not to me personally. It was if you're on the mailing list, you get the Lafroig email. And they said, they've been listening to the feedback and their critique, and they are going to try to improve their shop and their swag and the buying experience, and for people trying to use their points, and to try to actually increase their inventory so that when people want to buy it, it's not out of stock. And I think maybe Whiskey Lock had a little something to do with that as well. So again, great channel, Whiskey Lock. He's one of the better ones out there, in my opinion, and Ralphie's opinion, which speaks full volume. All right, full volume. I bought a sample of this a couple of years ago as an add-on when I bought some things through the Netherlands, and I was all excited. The packaging is great. I play drums and a little guitar, and consider myself a music freak, amateur musician. And so I do like Highland Park, and I really enjoyed the Twisted Tattoo. But I had the sample a couple of years ago, and I was underwhelmed by it. But since then, and a couple of years ago, I bought a couple of these, and I paid between $70 and $80. You can still find these on the shelves, and they've increased the price a little bit, but for around $110, maybe $120, you can still find these. Now it's a 17-year-old, but it's damn close to being an 18-year-old. So apples and oranges, you can still find these, and you're going to spend around $100, $110, $120, but you can buy the Highland Park 18 for as low as $130 to $145. I've seen it as high as $160, but if you can find an 18, for $10 or $20 more, I'm just putting things in perspective a little bit there. All right, I was underwhelmed by the sample. I've been trying hard to get what everybody's been raving about. I've watched, I think, every review in the last couple years, 3 years, about this, and most reviewers praise it highly, and I don't get it. I really don't. I'm halfway through this bottle, and I've been working really hard to try to see if it does something, and it's really not doing anymore. And you know what? We're going to get into a couple of details here, but all you really need, there's a lot of marketing mumbo jumbo on this packaging, and the and knobs, but Highland Park best sums it up themselves by what it says on the back of their label, okay? And it simply says tasting notes, natural color, okay, so we know it's natural color, and they do chill filter, and it says that they do on the box, but all Highland Parks are natural color. So tasting notes, natural color, sweet citrus treble, so get that treble. Yeah, there's citrus, but not so sweet. Vanilla bass notes, get it? Bass notes. It looks like bass, but it's vanilla base notes. Yes, there is vanilla in there, slightly, and then light sweet smoke. So it just says natural color, sweet citrus treble, vanilla base notes, and light sweet smoke. There's some dry citrus in there. There's some buried, subdued vanilla in there, and I wouldn't really call it sweet by any means. But it just goes to show you that the psychology of the marketing. I was really hoping to get the full volume experience, but in my opinion, it's the opposite of full volume. And what they do on the side here, right? And the camera might not pick it up, but the knobs. So the first knob says peat, and it's at a 3, so like a volume number from 1 to 10, right? So it says peat is the knob is on 3. Bourbon is on 10. So these are, it says, using 100% first fill bourbon casks rather than sherry season casks. Even though they're first fill, I mean, they've been sitting in this for close to 18 years. I don't think they were, even though first fill, they don't seem to be very active, in my opinion. Okay. Then they have vanilla is on 9. And then fruit they have is on 8. And then the volume, they have it 11, right? Spinal Tap, right? Why go to 10 when you can go to 11? All right. I had high expectations for this. I don't understand why most of the other reviewers really praise this. Apples and oranges, a lot of people have compared this with the Twisted Tattoo. They're nothing of the same, but I really enjoyed Twisted Tattoo, and if you can't hardly even find that anymore. Um, you'd be very challenged to find it. But the proof's in the pudding with this full volume because it's been out longer than the Twisted Tattoo. This has been out since 2017. You can still find it. That speaks volumes. You know, there didn't seem to be a high demand for it, and from my perspective. All right. On the nose, you know, water doesn't really help this, but I did put a little bit of water into it. But you get a subtle vanilla note. Water does not help this. Okay. It's very dry, somewhat astringent, a bit of salt. It's got a light bitterness to it, but it's also quite spirity. And it has that spirity afterburn, you know, and it's lacking mouthfeel. So there's no full mouthfeel on this. The ABV, you know, is pretty decent on it, actually. The ABV is 47.2%. And you can feel that. You can feel it's a bit spirity. It's, in my opinion, it's a bit hot. The only difference I really noticed with adding a little bit of water is I get a little bit minty notes out of there, and maybe a bit more creaminess, but it wasn't creamy to begin with. The finish is a medium plus finish, but that plus is more of the spirity hotness of it, in my opinion. I'm challenged really to find much complexity in this. I'm not getting the Highland Park essence out of this because they use mostly sherry for their house style. I'll tell you, you know, Highland Park 12 at 43% in the United States. You can find it anywhere. And you can find it usually for under $50. A lot of places $45, $45 to $55, let's say. But I see it all the time for close to $50, $45 to $50. It's a damn good. They don't add color to it. Yes, they do chill filter it. Highland Park has so many offerings, and you know they came out with the cast strength, which I just found I really had to play around with water on that way too much. I think, you know, if Highland Park ever listens, I think the answer is simple. Give us your Highland Park 10-year-old or 12-year-old, but let's just keep it at 12-year-old. Don't chill filter it, and up the alcohol to 46%. You know, make it an integrity bottling, and then do whatever you want with all the other Viking lore and the gimmicky full volumes and the Twisted Tattoo. Do all that other stuff, but their core product, the Highland 12, it's solid, and you know, batch to batch. Some offerings, some years might be better than others. But it's so simple. Just give us the 12-year-old. And at least raise it to 46%, even if you have to chill filter it. But hopefully they wouldn't. And that would be a great thing, in my opinion. Again, I had high expectations for this. And I'm really struggling to find any redeeming quality from it. What I'm gonna do, honestly, is and we can do it We can do it on here right here. This is their regular 12-year-old, right? Let's do it right here. We're going to pour this full volume. On a previous show, you saw me pour an older Highland Park 12 into the cask strength, right? So we're going to fill this right up. All right, so there's still probably, I don't know, a couple inches left in the bottom of that. But we're going to, let's get the twist on. I'm not going to try this right now, but one of my next shows, I'm going to bring out this and the Highland Park cask strength that I added some older 12 to, and we're just going to see what happened with those two. And we're just going to see. All right, so what's the score on the Highland Park full volume? 82 to an 83. I'm going to give it an 82. Again, this is, my review, my score. I have another backup bottle of this. I'll probably give it away as a gift to another musician. Bring it to band practice. I don't know, but anyway, if you like today's show, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Consider becoming a Patreon. Check out Whiskey Lock, and remember, no matter how much it costs or how good it is, it's just whiskey, folks. So hats off to you all, and take care.